Now, dear students, let us also talk about the different categories of tests. There are different kinds of tests, like for example, achievement, attainment, and progress tests. You can take it down somewhere so that you do not forget. Okay? Achievement, attainment, and progress tests. These tests are given to find out how well a student has done since a certain date or a certain period of time. It helps in determining the effectiveness of teaching and tells that how much that has been taught has really been learned. So the way the title of the test goes, or the heading of the test goes, achievement, attainment, and progress. So what do we test? We test the attainment, the progress that a candidate, that a student has made, and they also indicate past success or failure in learning and handling the material. Suppose I have completed my lecture on vowel sounds, or say diphthongs, or say organs of speech. So I would hold an attainment test, an achievement and progress test. Why? In order to see whether you have understood the material, okay, the lecture which had been delivered properly or not. And then we have another kinds of tests, and we call it the proficiency test. The proficiency test, yes. This type of test is more concerned with the present status of the candidate, regardless of the past courses. Attainment and achievement, or say progress test, judges your past attainment, means how much have you grasped, whereas this test judges the present status. It indicates a level of present ability in a prescribed subject or area. It tells that whether or not an individual is proficient enough to perform certain tasks or undertake a certain training program in a target language. So proficient, what does it mean? Proficient means skilled. Okay, it judges your proficiency, means how efficient you are, how competent you are, and it judges the present status, right? Are you able to handle the subject later on or not? And then you have another kind of test which is called as diagnostic test. This type of test does not test the learner's competence, capabilities, potentialities, and efficiency, but for the shortcomings of the learners. Shortcomings, that means errors. Okay, means the portion which the students have not clearly understood, the problem areas for that matter. It helps us in locating the areas where learner requires more concentrated teaching and study, so that remedial measures may be taken. Like suppose if you are committing errors in grammar, for example, prepositions are not suitably used by you, or say you are making wrong use of verbs, you do not have a very clear concept of grammar, means you don't understand concord, agreement between the subject and the verb. So a teacher get to know about your problem areas, about your weak points. How? By organizing a diagnostic test. And once he organizes a diagnostic test, he is aware of your weaknesses, your limitations, means where you need extra practice. Okay, then we have another kind of test. It is called as aptitude test. This type of test is related with the future possibilities, natural abilities of the learner's potential in a subject area or activity. Sometimes I hold classes on spoken English also, and what do I do? I give my students certain topics, and they are asked to speak extempore. Sometimes they are in fact given 5 to 10 minutes to think over the topic, and then they come and select a piece of paper where the title is written, and they speak on the spot. So this way they get a practice of spoken English. and some of you start speaking very well. So it, we are clear about this, that you would not cut a sorry figure when it comes to speaking in public, or say when it comes to have a group discussion for that matter, which you have later on, or say you will not cut a sorry figure in your interview. So you are all going to say have a practical life of your own after a year or two after completing your PG, and those who wish to pursue their career in teaching, or say whether school teacher or say teachers in the university, so you may do MPhil or PhD also. So we are talking about the aptitude test. Yes. So I was telling you that this type of test is related with the future possibilities, natural abilities of the learner's potential in a subject area or activity. It predicts the probable success or failure in a certain kind of language. You're very good at Hindi, okay, since it happens to be a mother tongue and you all the time is speaking Hindi only. But as far as English is concerned, because it happens to be a foreign language, and since some of you come from the Hindi medium schools also, so you are not that proficient in English. So what do you need there? You need practice. And I have seen Hindi medium students doing very well. How do? They work very hard. Remember the story that hare and rabbit slow and study wins the race. So by practice, by working continually, you master over your weakness, and you are able to speak well, do well, even in this foreign language. So there is nothing to worry about. Now, say, what are the good characteristics? Means, what are the characteristics of a good test? If I talk about the characteristics of a test, a good test for that matter. So, can you tell me one or two? Like, generally speaking, we say that there are certain characteristics, and these characteristics must be kept in mind while a teacher is setting a paper for the test, or say for the examination for that matter. So there are I think I have also spoken about this. There are 5 points for the evaluation for language tests. What are they? Do you remember any point? Yes. Yes.
It should be valid.
It should be valid. Okay, good. It should be valid. Yes. And
It should be reliable.
it should be reliable. Very good. That's very nice. It should be valid. It should be reliable. It should be accessible. We just discussed a good test should be accessible. It should be economical, and it should be administrable. It should be administrable. So there are these 5 points, 5 things which a teacher should keep in mind while setting a question paper.